Still, Jaipur is, or Rajasthan for that matter, lacks a lot behind innovative media.
But when you talk about volume and when you talk about the percentage of the business, I would say rural market does it better.
If I'm not wrong, you being the youngest in the industry, being a woman, what are those challenges?
I had a campaign running for 7 months and they suddenly told me that tomorrow the bus shelter will be removed. I did not tell any of my clients who I was.
I would want to understand that if you were not doing outdoors, if you were not doing NS, what would you be doing?
Yeah, what happened? Can I do this after 5 minutes? There's just one more fair left.
Do you think a good creative adds to the value of outdoor? Mic check. All good? Mic check. Where were we? What were we talking about? Bharatpur to
Digital marketing.
yeah,
Right now
the
you were talking about
gratification,
clients.
instant gratification, rewarding thing.
Yeah.
So welcome, Mansi. How do you feel?
I feel very nice. It's a Sunday. I'm enjoying it.
Great. So today on our podcast we have Mansi Maheshwari from NS Publicity, and NS Publicity is a very aggressive and innovative outdoor media agency based out of Jaipur, and they have been doing business in Rajasthan, in Delhi NCR, Indore and Amritsar, and it's a privilege to have the young energy on our podcast today. So Mansi, one thing which I've learned about is that you were passionate about digital advertising, and from digital advertising now you are into hardcore offline outdoor media. How is that transition happening?
So initially when I started my career, I wanted to be a digital marketeer.
Okay.
And COVID happened. But later on, when I was going to my office, so we do outdoor advertising, which is the offline marketing advertising.
Okay.
So when I started going to the office, one day, I mean, it's actually a fun story. One day there was someone who looks out for a very small town called Bharatpur. She was off, like she wasn't on off that day. So I took a command of her city. And that is how I got into outdoor. I was doing digital marketing. I've studied it for a year-long diploma. But I thought I'll learn management through something which has already been set up. So for me, the digital would be an easier route to understand how to manage the people, the finances and everything. But outdoor caught a hold of me, so I don't know.
So let me put it another way, that this transition of whole digital, like you were aspiring to get into the digital thing, and you wanted to take the route of management and like have an edge kind of a thing. So then what made you stay here in outdoor then?
I think outdoor, first thing is it's very unpredictable.
Okay.
And outdoor, it's like a reward. When you go around the city, when you see your own media, it's a reward and it's very like, it's fulfilling. So outdoor has caught on me, and I think as a person, I love to interact with people and to know. And there's just a new learning that I get from literally every client that I have. So I think that's the fun part about it. Plus outdoor, it does wonders.
Okay, now that you have mentioned about clients, clients from Jaipur or clients from outside Jaipur?
I have clients from all over the world.
What do you prefer?
I would say 20% in Jaipur, rest all outside.
No, so that's a very grey shade. If I was supposed to ask you
Yeah.
that if you were to pick between clients from Jaipur and clients outside Jaipur, whom would you pick?
I think outside. There's
Okay.
more
And why
business
so?
outside. There's more revenue. I mean, business revenue, so more outside.
Anything related to professionalism and the way they work, or like?
I would say absolutely, because see, when it is about Jaipur, I mean, because Jaipur is a city that we've grown upon in, and Jaipur people are usually very chill and they are very homely nature only. And when you talk about outside, it's the whole mechanism that they follow. There's a full corporate houses. They have 10 people of doing it. So I think professionalism is outside better.
Okay.
Jaipur people would be quick to buy from you, but in the long term, they would be outside people would be more settling in, and it's I mean, we see the long term wala part.
I could relate to the rewarding thing pretty well, because as a consultancy or as a marketing agency, whenever we are publishing an ad and next day morning whenever we pick up the newspaper and see the ad, it's immensely gratifying. But at the same time, there is like I don't know, but in our business, as we call it, no news is good news. And if the client hasn't called, that means the ad is successful. If the client calls, that means something is wrong. the phone number was typed wrong, or some other mistake was there. So that's there. So yeah, coming back to the reward thing, I can relate to what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like you see what you do. And what is better to see than what you do? I mean, it just, your whole hardworking part completes right when you see that live.
That's fantastic.
So that
yeah.
is how it is. And yeah, no call is a good call, that I believe in.
So now there's one more interesting thing, that okay, this reward thing, and you see your creation day in day out. So this is the reward part of it. Now, what are the challenges? And if I'm not wrong, you being the youngest in the industry, being a woman, what are those challenges?
Challenges in terms of business, when I speak for macro part of it, the business, I mean, there are government policies, they keep on changing. So recently only there was this particular road called MI Road, they've had to expand it. I had a campaign running for 7 months, and they suddenly told me that tomorrow the bus shelter will be removed. So that was something, and it is very difficult to explain to your client that how can it happen overnight, but that is how government policies are. So yeah, that is one big challenge, because ours is completely affiliated to the government, we take it over the lease. So that is one. Second would be, I think, the vinyl, the flexes that we print. There's a lot of theft that is keep on happening, and it's impossible to track it. And clients, you know, this is my forte. So I understand how it works like, but when I'm seeing from the client's shoe, I kind of realize what the problem is, when they don't understand how can somebody just steal your flex which is up in the sky, or how can it be torn apart completely. So that is something that takes upon as a challenge to us.
I mean, I never thought of this theft thing as a challenge, but now that you're talking about it, I mean, wow, this is. Can you elaborate more on this? Like, what is the probability of flexes being or media being stolen?
So basically, in cities like Jaipur, tier 1 cities, it's easier, but in rural areas people need flexes for, maybe you could say, for sheltering their cows or anything at all. People just climb up, they take out the flex and they just run away. Like, you can't keep a track of this. Like 25,000 sites in Rajasthan, how many can you keep a track of? That is one.
25,000 sites.
Yeah, and there's just been developing more infrastructure. That is how I think you acquire the markets. I mean, there are new districts being found. And actually there's a fun story to it. There was this one campaign I did last time during Diwali, and my client asked me to hire a guard to keep a charge of his side. His innovation was for 4 lakhs. I hired a guard, day different, night different, just to keep a track of his side, so that nobody steals his innovation.
So in Jaipur,
there was it's right around here, like 200 meters from here, Chomu House Circle. So that was very new to me, and when he told me, I thought he was joking around. So when he told me like he needs a guard, I kind of laughed. I was like, yeah, sure, you need one. And then he came into the conversation, he said, I really do need one. I can give you 20,000 to hire 2 people, but I cannot lose my 5 lakh rupee innovation.
And that was a Jaipur-based client, or?
No, it was actually for, I can name it, it was for Royal Stag.
Oh.
So during Diwali, they had this entire innovation done. And I mean, it was impossible. People can go so beyond. That is how serious it is. I mean.
Now that you have mentioned a particular brand over here, any particularly interesting brands or favorite brands that you look forward to working with them on regular basis?
I do work with Amazon regularly.
Okay.
Amazon Prime Video, to be very specific.
Right.
They do lovely campaigns. They do in clusters. So it's just more rewarding because I see a circle full of Amazon, and they keep on happening, and they do it in way too fast frequency. So I think Amazon is one of my favorite clients. I love all my clients equally.
No.
I do think real estate clients are interesting.
Okay.
Because they do big business.
Okay.
And they do it in a single shot. There's not much of a homework to be done before. They just turn up one day and they just tell you they need 50 sites, and they would just go ahead with it. No more homework. They've seen the media. So I think real estate segment is fun. The revenue is very easy to flow in. You don't have to follow up for the payments and other things that comes in a business cycle. So I enjoy those as well.
So one question that I was meaning to ask is that is Jaipur growing, in the sense that you must have seen you're coming from a media family. Have you seen the way advertising was done in Jaipur earlier and the way advertising is being done now? So do you think there is a transition that Jaipur is opening up, the economy is spreading, and bigger companies are coming in and promoting their products and services than what was there earlier?
That's right. I think there's actually three things how you can put it to. Number one would be clients are coming. They think now Jaipur has become a bit more. I mean, we have metros, we have other things. So people are considering Jaipur as a very potential city to market in. But that is the macro part of it. When I talk about when I talk about my organization, see, there's been the rates are ever rising for all the things that I have and the license fees. So for me, in terms of revenue, Jaipur does hold a very big part from what it did before. But in terms of percentage, I think rural areas are developing better and they are more profitable to me. Jaipur does hold 75-80% of whatever it is in Rajasthan. But when you talk about volume and when you talk about the percentage of the business, I would say rural market does it better.
Okay.
So that is one. Innovation, yeah. So I feel in any sort of business, innovation has to keep on happening. Otherwise, you can't, I mean, you're of no substance if you're not innovating anything new because the world is ever changing. So that is one thing I consider. So now you would see there are a lot of digital media.
Right.
Before there were no digital media in Jaipur or significantly nowhere in Rajasthan. But now we have like all malls of Jaipur. So now digital is on a spike with all the cinematographies and whatever they do. I think digital has been innovated. Revenue, you could say, has been partially rising up. Not the same speed as it was before. But yeah, the market overall in the eye of a layman is growing. That's right.
That's a pretty impressive insight into rural versus urban. So somewhere down the line we missed on this aspect when we were talking about the challenges of you being young and being a woman and working with the clients. So we'd love to know more about these challenges.
For me, the life mantra you would say is just know what you do.
Okay.
Know it 1 to 100, all of it. And then there's nobody who can play you. I mean, if you know what you're selling, if you know what you're doing, there's no way somebody can put you into center. They do put you into center. Males, I mean, I'm not subsiding an entire gender upon me, but yeah, they do have a command. Their voice can be sometimes more louder. But then, of course, if you know what you're doing, then there's no way somebody can get to you. I think that is how it is. Plus, yeah, I mean, I remember like when we spoke some time back, then you asked me if I have any privileges about it. There are not certain more privileges. Like in my organization, for the first year, I did not tell any of my clients who I was. So they did treat me like a normal newcomer, and then I just had my way learning through it. But yeah, I've realized one thing in the industry that some people, 90% people don't know what they're talking about. Like they do know, but they don't know some part of it. So you have to see what is the part that you can twist. And you have to just analyze this is where he would be unaware, like let me just do it that way.
So when we're talking about the privileges, and so this is from the client side, but let's talk about from the family side. So did you enjoy any privileges from
just
that
the
side?
flexible work hours? Otherwise it was equal for me. It was actually more. Like I used to, when I started, up until 2 months back also I was working till 2-3 in the night. I have a problem of being a perfectionist. I cannot leave anything behind. If you were to mail me at 1 a.m., I would want you to, if I'm awake, if I saw your mail, I will reply to you. Otherwise, I'll wake up in the middle of my sleep and I'll think something is off the rack. Like,
I mean, something keeps ticking you, and that's quite impressive.
I think that is how you're passionate about it. I feel that is why I'm just so interested to talk about outdoor and to know it, because it just interests me a lot. So it's not something that I see as a pressure upon me, rather something that I love to do. So I keep on taking these recce's also around Jaipur. So every week there's like set days wherein I'd go to Jailen one day, I'd go to Vaishali one day, I'd go to Gopalpura one day, just to, I know what has been installed. Like there would be around 1,000 sites in Jaipur. I would know each and every one, like what is exactly, I can tell you a route map out of it. Like when you exit the airport, this is what you see, that is what you see. But I still take around just to see the media hygiene. If there is a flex being taken out on the edge, if the cladding is perfect, if the lighting is working all right. I think that is how you serve your clients.
So we were talking about going around the city, checking on the media hygiene, the lights, and the overall aesthetics and appeal of the media. So when we are talking about the appeal of the media, I also was little curious about this aspect that you or NS as media agency has been the pioneer. The unipoles or the gantries or the cylindrical towers that we see all have been erected by NS. I was wondering that still Jaipur is, or Rajasthan for that matter, lacks a lot behind innovative media, right? You go to Gurgaon, amazing outdoors. You go to Delhi, again amazing outdoors. You go to Bombay, large size, larger than life outdoor units. And if you go, say, probably to Dubai or New York or any other developed countries, tier 1 city, there the outdoors are altogether different. You have got now digital anamorphic screens are there. Why we don't have them in Jaipur?
Right. Number one would be Gurgaon. That is also NS.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. I did not know.
Yeah.
How much of share is there?
90%. Like all of the bus shelters, all of the
Okay.
DLF Cyber Hub, that's NS.
The entire cyber hub, you
Yeah,
mean to
yeah.
say?
That's exclusively for NS.
Okay.
Cyber Hub,
So
Gold
the
Mark.
Samsung boards and
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
that we
yeah.
see
All
is
of the innovations that you see, all of the activation spaces that you see, that is all NS.
activation space.
Yeah,
Yeah. So now, when you're doing it in Gurgaon, why not in Jaipur?
Yeah. I would say two things. One is infrastructure would be one of the most important things. So when you go to Gurgaon, there's actually a slant billboard, which is the most expensive site of Gurgaon, and for North, would you say?
Slant or the angular one?
No,
which is
that's
the,
a bit slant.
Okay.
Yeah, you could say angular also. So I think infrastructure. So what we do here is we are optimally utilizing whatever is the space that has been rented out to us. Number two would be that when you said Bombay and you said such large sites, you would realize they are all roof on sites and they are all private media. So one thing that comes into the differentiation of these two is when you talk about Rajasthan as a market, this is all tender media, which is affiliated directly to the government, wherein I pay the government, and there are certain rules, regulation, permits that I have to keep in mind before installing. So when I install a site, there's a particular square foot that has been allotted to me, and I cannot surpass that, because that is the exact amount of land that I'm paying the government for. It's equally like buying a land, but from the government. And when you talk about Bombay, these are all private sites. So basically the landlord allows you the space.
Okay.
And you can grow it as big as you want. But you would realize there's also a problem with this. I mean, I don't know if you've come across this, but there was this one site in Bombay. Last year, we would have heard this big billboard that fell upon
came crashing,
the
yeah.
petrol pumps
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all.
yeah.
So certain times such big media is also not feasible, and I think that is why government sometimes does not allow you. And you would see Jaipur as a city, I mean, we are comparatively a bit smaller than Delhi and Bombay. So
Obviously.
the space, I mean, these roads wouldn't elaborate a 100 on 100 site. So this all, I'll correct you for a second. I
Yes,
mean, I'm not
please.
disagreeing,
Yes, please.
but
Yes, please.
you would see outside Jaipur, you'd go to highways, there are big sites, there are 100 sites, there are 150 sites, like in the space terms. And sometimes they're bigger than what Bombay has to offer. There's actually a site in Bombay, it's on over the Worli, it's the biggest, largest site of Bombay. And equal to that size, we have one in the Kishangarh highway.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So here, okay, even if we talk about the innovation difference between, but like say suppose Gurgaon Cyber Hub is there, activation spaces that we are talking about. What about similar kind of a setup here in Jaipur? We have got places like maybe we have got Gaurav Towers, we have got other common areas. So why not there? Does government policies come into play? Or
No,
anything?
no, no. They are privately allotted lands.
Okay.
So number one is it's all client preference. So there's actually a lot of exhaustive media in Jaipur. You would see when you talk about Gaurav Tower, I'd have like 10 facades in Gaurav Tower itself. Then there would be 3 unipoles right outside the Gaurav Tower. When you exit 50 meters, there's 2 hoardings there. You
Right.
climb up the flyover,
Right.
there's 3 there. So I think client preferences. Clients haven't been very actively spending upon activation in Jaipur. Then Gurgaon, I think it has more to do with when you talk about Cyber Hub. Entire Gurgaon goes to Cyber Hub. But when you talk about Gaurav, I'm not naming anybody to be very exact, but when you talk about certain malls, Jaipur has multiple malls, but they are very small. So client doesn't want to exhaustively spend inside one mall, rather they want it exhaustively. So they are not keen on installing it in one place, then other places.
They want to have a more
Yeah,
spread.
just an exhaustive campaign so that multiple people see, because I mean, I cannot name a single place in Jaipur except for the walled city where people collectively come together.
Right. Right.
So yeah, if you were to live in X place, you go to the certain mall. When you live in some other place, you go to other places.
Do you feel that some way, because NS being the flag bearer of out of home advertising, NS could be also more innovative in the approach where we could create, say, structures, although they have been done in past by NS, but something more innovative medium, which is serving kind of red light purpose as well as display purpose, so something of that sort.
So, I mean, to jot it down into two things. One would be, yeah, we did that cylindrical thing you said, we call it a rocking tower.
Okay.
So that is what we used to do. NS started it. So the NS actually discovered the entire concept. It was started by my dad, Mr. K.D. Maheshwari. That plus there were island crossings. So we used to do have you seen the one at Panchbatti? That entire tower, that was NS.
Yeah.
And there were island crossing like the traffic police booths and all of that. But now eventually when we talk about it, number one would be that it all requires the permits and regulations and you have to follow it certain times. Now you would see Jaipur roads are also expanding. So when we see from a government official's point of view or a corporation's point of view, sometimes certain things are not feasible when they are actually talking about elaborating the space, and when you put something in the middle of it, it's actually creating more of a,
roadblock.
Yeah, that is one. And that is one thing. And plus when you're giving a space, anything and everything that you do in outdoor outside of the private spaces, that requires you a certain chain of things to follow, and you cannot just do it like that. So yeah, we are trying to optimally utilize the space.
Got it.
These things come with a lot of production charges also, so you need to have that level of clientele who's ready to spend you that much.
Is Jaipur ready to spend that kind of money?
I think
Does Jaipur, or let me rephrase it, does Jaipur has that kind of potential?
Jaipur has the potential, but it is seasonal. People want it picky, like everybody wants it during Diwali.
Okay.
So I have a client called Indriya Jewels. It's an Aditya Birla venture.
Right.
They've recently only come across. So they were very keen on taking a rocking tower, which is over this place called MI Road, Panchpatti. But it was not available then. But now his whole infatuation was for 2 months. And then it all vanishes away. So when you spend into outdoor, when I as a vendor, I as a media owner, when I want to spend in, I'm looking for a long-term purpose. I'm not looking for infatuations of 2 months. I'm not naming them exactly, but I want something long-lasting. I am not paying for that much for a 1 month long campaign. So we do certain things when we have a client in hand. For example, I had this client called Banga Cement. That Banga Cement client told me that he needs a certain space for 6 months to a year or too long. That is when I created the space, because I knew, it's just an unnecessary cost for me otherwise.
So this creation of space, how does it happen? That you take all the permits? Is it on BOT basis, build, operate and transfer?
Yeah, mostly. It depends. Like heritage government would work different. There are different policies, but yeah, mostly it's BOT basis. That is how the rocking towers also became.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now coming to this whole client and client interaction and innovation, is there any particular campaign that you really love and you say, wow, this is it, this is that gratification, that reward thing, and that whole ego massage that one gets after seeing that super size hoarding? Can you name one campaign?
It was Indriya for me. Particularly that client, it comes from an agency for me, and it was interesting because they did the recce, which is a physically seeing all of the sites and analyzing which is the best for them. He did it for like 5 times, and then it was a huge plan, and it was just a successful campaign that it has been happening for the last 7 months, and it is extended for another 6 months. So it was a lovely campaign because I was personally very satisfied out of the results that came in, and you could see half of the city was covered in Indriya. So that's a lovely sight. I think exhaustive campaigns are a good massage, you would say. And like I said, Amazon. So Amazon has a habit of doing it exhaustively. Like in a circle, you would see 4 Amazons happening.
Right.
So I think those clients do the good part for me. There was actually a real estate client, I can name them. It was Ashiana. Mm-hmm. They do wonderful campaigns. Like me as a person, I love all of my clients, but them, it's just, another level. They're just wonderful with what they do.
Great. And talking about great campaigns and gratifying campaigns, name any one such campaign where you got the files, the media was printed, media was installed, and next day morning the call comes crashing in and like there was a fiasco.
Yeah, so it was, I think, Vodafone.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I installed like around 50 sites. And there was this one site, the dude was standing, like my mounter was standing right beneath the site with the flex, and the client calls, Ma'am, I don't need that. I was like, how can you not need something like that? And there was actually one more client called, just off the record, but like there's a client called Chambal Oil. He had this oil canister. He said the canister, the shine is a bit less. And it's like 75 sites across Rajasthan. He changed them over completely just for the shine of the canister. Canister, not even the oil.
Okay.
And when my mounter went to install it, he said it looks exactly the same. I don't know what is the difference. It took him 15 minutes. It took me and my designer 15 minutes to realize what the problem was. And imagine outdoor is like, it's a minute campaign. Like you just pass through it. And he
Right.
said, Ma'am, actually the canister wasn't shining.
And how, like, what was the whole canister shine thing?
It was the normal, to be very informal, it was a balti. And he just made it a bit more, it was aluminium, he made it steel. Just for it to shine. Just for the campaign, like it shouldn't look average, he said.
And who had to take the media cost in this?
My agency. Yes, it's
Wow.
not possible for me to change over 60 sides. Had it been one or two, I would have done it as a value add or as a, just an extra arm, extended arm for my clients.
Right.
60 sides for a canister. That was something very new to me. I was like, people are very passionate about their campaigns. And it was
That's
insane.
crazy.
And I think there was one more client who got changed over 15 or 3015. So on an average, a 3015 costs you 5,000 rupees as a flex. He changed 15 3015s because he told me the allocation incorrectly. Like 1 to 3, he told me 3 to 1. So he changed all of them for the campaign. And he said, I'll bear the cost. It is okay. So I haven't personally seen such clients who just spend like anything. They want the best out
Wow,
of the
so
best.
we are actually coming to this that Jaipur has the potential.
Jaipur has the potential. Some of them, obviously, they are the benchmarkers. Like, they don't want anything wrong in it. But when you talk about Jaipur, we are talking about the Jaipur market. We are not talking about the Jaipur clients. So these oil clients and all of these are my Delhi clients actually.
Okay.
So when we talk about these all, they are from corporates, Delhi corporates. When we talk about clients, I think real estate industry is on the most boom. All seasons.
Okay.
All of the campaigns I keep on doing. So
You
real
mentioned
estate.
Ashiana's campaign and the way they are doing, and then we are talking about real estate companies. So, what is it that you want to particularly highlight over here about Ashiana?
I would say I tune in very well because when I speak about it, I think I more handedly speak about how it is, how I interact with the person. So he would just come with like a 60 site list and he would say, I need this. And then I'll tell him that this will happen, this, and this, it's just very convenient.
And
And
it's
they
done.
do, yeah, as a client, they just do it. He'll give you the creators first, and then he'll give you the sites. That is you would say it's a win-win situation. Otherwise, you have to follow up a lot with the creators, then the payment with them, and with a lot of my real estate clients, you don't have to. That is something, and they do big business. They have like good media share for good lasting times. Their campaigns are seasonal, but they change it over. So they would be doing it for A, then they change it over to a B campaign. But for me, as an inventory, as my revenue, I would all name it in Ashiana. So for me, it's a good client year long. For them, it might be different ventures all together.
Mansi, I have this question, and I was wondering that it's been how many years since you have been in this industry?
It's been around and about 3.5 to 4 years.
Just 3.5, 4 years. And do clients know that you have been in this business just for 3.5, 4 years?
No, actually, it's a surprise from them. Every time they get to know it, they're just in a complete shock.
Right.
So,
And so, how have you compensated, or how you have made your way through this whole experience and the age thing? What's the secret?
one thing is you have to know the entire cycle.
Okay.
So that is how you hold upon a grip on anybody that you're talking to, I feel. So the minute the client calls you, till the minute the site is installed, so it's a whole process. You get a call, you share a plan, you understand the brief, then you give the site, you have the booking done, then you print the flex, you install it, and for me, I think job is not done over that part. It is on every single day until the campaign is over. So it's an entire cycle of that. And when you know the entire process, you know the hundreds and thousands of people involved in it, you know each and every person who does what, except for climbing up the hoarding. I think I can do pretty much all of it because I've been personally studying about it for a while.
So that is one aspect to it. I
Yeah.
was more curious about it, that how come you have consolidated or condensed so many years of experience into such a short span of time?
So our medium is 75% over mail.
Yeah.
And I mean, my buyers are the same. Before me, they were the same buyers. So I used to put a filter on over the mail, and I think, particularly read from 2010 or beyond all of the mails from all of my regular buyers. It's just interesting because see, the buyer stays the same. His way of working stays the
It was
same.
like a Mills and Boons for you, reading those mails.
Yeah. So I'll tell you one thing. So buyers are the same. Their way of working is the same. It is just that I've been new in the industry.
Right.
So rather than them settling in with me, I'll have to get into their shoe and settle in with what exactly works their way. I mean, my only trick is to in somebody, you have to be like them, and you have to understand where they can be twisted and where you can put things onto them. So I've read all of those mails from last 15 years from my regular buyers. Sometimes they've changed the agencies also, but it's interesting. So now I know that today when he's a bit late to the reply, I know that that is how he has been 15 years and I can do literally nothing about it. Or like I would know that this guy wouldn't follow up with certain thing. So I would know I can be a bit loose, or I can tell him over here. So I think reading mails, you understand how people work like. And into any business, you just have to understand how your TG work likes. And you have to settle in your client's shoes. So when I'm selling you something,
Right.
I would rather be in your shoes. Like if I'm charging you, for an example, hypothetically, a 4 lakh rupee site, I would be in your shoe and imagine, does this photo does justify to me? If I were the client, would I pay a 4 lakh rupee for a site like this?
Right.
And then I work upon it, like changing the proposal photos or anything at all, understanding the client. If I'm a jeweler, why will I buy a site which is in steel market?
Right.
So I have to understand what goes with anybody, and you have to literally be in the other person's shoe to make them home. It's like get the ball in your court and then play along it.
Wow. I'll tell you something. I have worked with your father.
Yeah.
I'm working with you.
Yeah.
And there is a huge transition that I can see, and
Yeah.
it is such an amazing change. In fact, I would want to tell you this, that of lately we have started working with the second generation or the younger generation in business. And this transition is so heartwarming, and this is brilliant to see. Earlier, otherwise, the whole, when you're talking about being in the shoe of the client and then relating to their perspective, it is such a fresh approach to the business that, oh, okay, this client wants to advertise, I should be able to see this medium from his eyes. That is a brilliant approach.
Actually, you know why? See, client as a young generation, for me, a normal person would retire at 55, 60. So my father is still very much in the business. His time, my time, the client stays the same. It is me who's entering the industry.
Right.
Now the gap is that they have their experience of the past 20, 25 years in the industry. And to be fairly honest, I mean, you cannot get 25 years of experience from nothing. Like you cannot get an experience in 4 weeks.
Right.
So the only way of approaching is to be into them, to understand how it works like. Otherwise, the client is the same. It is me and the next generation which is entering. Obviously, they will surpass sometimes and it will be us, but that is how the circle works. So when you are new, you have to understand how other people work like. I think it's more convenient. Otherwise, the client might get irritated out of it. That is the problem. See, that is where innovation comes to space. That people are very rigid about certain things. So there are people who are very rigid that this is how it was used to happen during 15 years back. They need to realize that things have changed. The market spacing is different.
Right.
Now the market holds upon to multiple other things. The timing is fast. The internet capacity is faster. And things cannot be held off for so long.
Right.
People some people are caged up in their thought process, and I think that is not how you move forward. So for me as a media vendor, I mean, I'm equally supportive to each of my clients, but I'd rather enjoy the ride with someone who's more convenient and flexible with me. I
Right.
think flexibility is important.
Aligns with your thought process,
Yeah.
aligns with your.
I'm trying to get into your show. You might as well be a little kinder and try to get into what I'm trying to explain.
All right.
And everybody can use some fresh knowledge, and I feel there's always room for knowledge.
Right. So Mansi, after like all this conversation, I have this curiosity.
Yeah.
You're young, you're aggressive, you are a thoroughbred media person. I would want to understand that if you were not doing outdoors, if you were not doing NS, what would you be doing?
That's an interesting question. I think I'd be doing jewelry designing.
Jewelry?
Why?
Okay.
Because I'm getting married in a month.
Wow,
And
that's
for
some
me,
news.
I've been into like hundreds of those places.
Okay.
And one thing I've realized between a lot of other segments is that with jewelry designing, there could be 1,000 people doing the same business, but every single of them is excelling in something different. And it takes creativity, it takes labor hours. It's a cycle of different things put in together. So I think jewelry is very interesting.
No wonder why Indriya is your favorite campaign, because you see the outdoor amalgamating with jewelry aspect
Yeah,
of it.
no, but that was like before I got fixed, but now I would say it's jewelry.
Okay.
I would love to do that.
So would you continue, like after your marriage, would you continue?
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
I was like in office yesterday.
Like that's yesterday I got it. I'm talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, I think 100%. I'm just hoping I'm not on the call during the wedding day.
Yeah, like you're taking fairas and you have this.
Yeah, like
"Ma'am,
just
ye
hold on.
media trending one."
Yeah, it's like just hold on. Yeah, what happened? Can I do this after 5 minutes? There's just one more fera left. But I think I just love it so much. I don't think I can ever leave it. And you know, the fun part about this whole industry is that it keeps you on the toes. It's very unpredictable. You don't know what tomorrow brings to you. It's different every day. The pacing is different. So, I mean, I do appreciate all the industries, but I don't think there's any industry that can keep you on the toes, except for if you're a heart doctor and if you have to wake up at 2 a.m. to fix somebody's heart.
Yeah.
Other than
Got
that,
it.
I don't think any industry can put you on the toes all the times.
Great. Do you ever feel stressed?
No, I don't make people stress. Actually, no, I think my stress capacity is easy only. I do delegate it way quickly. Sometimes it is stressful, but it's fine. I think at the end of the day, I'm just very satisfied. I'm just so into it that I think of it as a good exercise for me. I
Brilliant.
delegate it.
So, being a media agency person, as a marketing consultant also, I would want to know which one is your favorite advertising agency?
Anybody who gives me the most business is my favorite.
Let's talk about other than business. Do you think, like let's put it this way, do you think a good creative adds to the value of outdoor?
100%. Your creative is your face. That is how you
Right.
sell to anybody at all.
Right.
That is how you tell who you are. So if it is dull, then nobody honestly knows who you are.
Okay.
So that is one. My favorite agencies, I think, would be Group M.
Group aim?
It would be Dentsu.
Okay.
So I think those two, and there are multiple people. There's a long list, but I think these two are the top two favorites. And why so is because very quick, great elaborated structures to work upon, and they have just these huge setups. So it's just amazing and wonderful to see how they work like. So that's, I think, very interesting.
Fantastic.
Rest, I love all my clients equally.
That you have been saying like
Yeah.
non-stop. You have been diplomatic about
Please
it. That
understand.
you don't leave any client out of the list. You are being inclusive.
But I
and
think
you're
they have
keeping
just
everyone in the
elaborated
basket.
structures, and they are just very. I mean, it's inspiring how so many people are put into picture of a man's job. There's like 10 people doing it, and it's like a cycle. It's interesting.
Okay, now one more question that I have, and do you think the whole NS infra, NS setup has made the job easier for you?
100%. See, when I think about it, every time when I'm actually introspecting about it, I feel that the brick to the brick hard work has been done with the generations before me, my father, my grandfather. So I think that labor part, obviously, I haven't experienced, and I'm sure it would be a great learning. But when it comes to the now part that I enjoy is that I think I haven't brick to brick it, but I feel I've been the backbone.
Right.
So it's nice. They've made it. I'm trying to manage it.
Right.
And I
They have laid
think-
the foundation and you're raising them.
Yeah. And I think that is my forte also, to manage people.
Right.
So I would enjoy fabrications rather. Like I would enjoy this more.
So now, when we are talking about your father, grandfather, and your uncles, and everyone in the family, is there any mentor that you would like to mention over here, or who's your mentor? Let's put it like this: inside the family as well as outside the family.
Inside the family would be my father.
Okay.
I have literally seen him from inch to inch, like how much NS means to him. I mean, before joining NS, I used to think that I was the most favorite upped person. When I entered NS, I realized I was no different than other people. Like, he still cannot tolerate any negligence in the business whatsoever. Like, it could be 12 in the night, he would pick the phone, he would do certain everything. Anything and everything NS has to do has to be my father, I feel. And that is the most inspiring thing. And when I meet people, when I talk to endless buyers, each and everybody appreciates him. So I think that is something that he's created through the years, and that is something I'd love to be a carbon copy of. So
Of Mr. K.D. Maheshwari.
yeah, and outside you would say it is, I mean, just very elaborated, but outside I would say it is every buyer that I have. Everybody has something to tell me.
Again, quite a diplomatic answer where you are trying to be inclusive and you're trying to keep
No.
everyone.
I'll be
in the
very
basket.
honest. So somebody would teach me, very Hindi word jugaad. Somebody would be teaching me that, not like this, let's do it like this, it'll be hushed up, it'll be done. Somebody would be teaching me that don't ask for this, first let's do this, then you ask, it'll be pressuring. Some third person will be telling you, let's do the billing first, then we'll install. So every person has minute things. And I think the knowledge, the limited experience that I have is not mine. It is a collective knowledge of the hundreds of people that I interact with every day. And honestly, everybody has a lot to teach. It's just amazing how people work. It really is inspiring.
That's quite an amazing message that you are throwing at the younger generation, that learn from everybody who's with whom you're crossing the road.
100%. They know it better. Obviously, you have a brain of your own, but they have the knowledge and they have grasped upon it from the last 20 years. I mean, it is countable for something.
Right.
It's like a roadmap.
Got it. So now that you are going to be fully engaged even after your marriage with NS, where is NS going from here?
So NS currently is in entire Rajasthan. Every minute to minute tehsil you can count to the biggest of the cities. We are there in Gurgaon completely. We're there in Amritsar. And actually, fun fact, NS did install the largest LED over the Golden Temple. Like it is at the Golden Temple.
Okay.
And we're there in Indore, and we are grasping onto other cities where it's been undergoing. So I think first we'd like to capture different markets. I mean, when you talk in terms of inventory, there's every single day 5 unipoles are being fabricated, every single day. And they have been installing it rapidly all across the cities. So I think INS will first capture. For me, I think bit beyond that. I mean, I'm sure my father and my brother, they do the India part. I'd want it outside also. So it's a far off thought, but I think brick by brick, anybody
Maybe
can
Dubai?
reach it. Dubai, you could say. I was actually thinking London. London, I feel I've traveled a couple of times. I've studied there for 3 months. So I feel London can use some of it. London lacks a bit of outdoor. And when we talk about outdoor, so one fun fact about them also is they have moving outdoor. Like they would color a car.
Right.
They would do different innovations. I think
Right,
that we
right.
can try in Jaipur. Like the roads are also decent only for that. For movability, moving outdoors.
Like coming from this whole innovation thing,
Yeah.
have you noticed the new Britannia's campaign, the outdoor? Do you think something of that can be done here in Jaipur?
You can. Honestly, it depends from client to client. You can, except for it shouldn't hamper anybody. And one very important thing that we look into when we're talking about outdoor is that it's placed over the road, quite literally. There's like 1,000 passerbys that go.
Right.
You're literally liable to everybody. Anything cannot fall on anyone. So you have to see all the parameters, all the hygienes. If that is fine, there are certain levels, like there's certain height and other measurements that you have to take care of.
Right.
That is under the permit. Rest it all depends on the client. You can do anything with that structure. The structure is the main conversation.
Right.
Then it's you.
So from this whole hygiene and being responsible, with this whole media thing, I was wondering that if you have faced any situation in which because of natural calamity damage has been done and how did NS react to it?
Yeah, I can speak about an experience. So this was, I think, last year monsoon. And so monsoons are the worst kind of a season for anybody in the outdoor world. It's like every day you wake up, there's like 50 flexes being torn apart. But that is decent because that is manageable. So there are times when your structure, see, there's a certain point till you can maintain the hygiene. Beyond that, if you have, let's say if there's a flood, you cannot help it.
Right.
So there has been a time last year, I think in monsoon, wherein the structure was getting a bit loosened up. So someone in the company did get a call from someone random walking by. This was, I think, Kishangarh. Not too crowded, but still the structure was a bit like that. And it did happen because it was heavily raining. So while we ensure that each and every single side, like there's literally videos over the groups of every single side of all 25,000 of them that you tighten up. But that one structure, it was because I think a client did innovation on it.
Oh.
So what happens is when the client does innovation, sometimes they use heavy stuff. They use iron metals.
Right,
And when we do it, we just use a flex because there's only a certain amount that your structure can handle. So that was loosened up. So we went, my team went, my Ajmer team. So we have regional teams. There would be one in Ajmer, one in Jodhpur, one in Udaipur, Kota, and then there are neighboring towns.
Okay.
So my Ajmer team went, they took a crane. It was all,
fixed
it
it.
all happened in the middle of the night. But it involved 5 of my team people, 3 of us on the back end, the client. And yeah, we did tell the client that it is not okay. But sometimes, you do face, these are certain things that are beyond you and me.
Okay, but coming from this, how big is NS team right now?
You could say 300 to 500 people. I'm not counting my ground managers.
Okay.
There are like 500 of them separately.
Yeah, why not? They
you
are
can,
the-
you can count. There are a lot of people. So that is how big
And
it
how
is.
many people are you are interacting with, or they are reporting to you on daily basis?
So basically, you can avoid my corporate team.
Okay.
When you talk, I'm talking to everybody in my corporate team, each and every single of them. And when you talk about my ground team, there are managers, and they have another team of 6 people beneath them.
Right.
So I talk to the managing level people, and then they interact.
So what would be that number?
You could say 30.
30 odd people, and the corporate office team is separate altogether.
Yeah.
And
Those
what
are
would be
different
that
people.
number?
On a daily basis, that will be like 30-40 people.
So in a day, you're interacting with at least you're somewhere between a figure of 60 to 70 people.
Yeah, and each of them is connected. So you cannot skip one person out of it. You have to talk to the planner, you have to talk to the finance guy, you have to talk to the manager, you have to talk to their coordinator. It's a cycle of different things that makes a product what it is.
Right.
So you have to interact. One person loses out, your entire thing, you're just stuck there like she'll tell, he'll tell.
Have you ever thought about it that maybe you are you're young for this kind of a responsibility, or you have scaled up pretty fast for this kind of a set of operation?
I didn't imagine I would look out for the inventory of Jaipur or Rajasthan when I started. So, but I leveled up. Like I went from Bharatpur, I planned for Udaipur, Ajmer, Kota, Jodhpur, and every other thing that comes beyond it. And then eventually, when I was given Jaipur, I was a bit petrified because Jaipur is a very big market for us. And I was literally responsible for each and every side. If it was vacant, that also was a problem. Like I can never see a vacant side because it's a revenue loss for me. And it's billed for a month. It's a license fee that I'm giving. So if you are keeping it vacant, you're still paying the government.
Right.
So for me, that was a task. But when I got into it, I read all of that mails. I understood the market capacity. There are days sometimes when media is 80 to 85% occupied, and then it was difficult initially, but then eventually I realized that is how the market works, and you cannot always be 100% packed except for Diwali. But touch wood, by God's grace, it's going decent. It's going good.
Okay, now a business question.
Yeah.
What's your break-even percentage?
That is too technical for me.
Okay, fine.
But you can put it like, I cannot tell you the figures or numbers, but
no, just percentage sorts.
But you can say, like, in terms of a bit theoretically, you can say that so there are a set of sites that are always packed, irrespective of what season, what market boom, nothing. Right. But when my very average sites, which are always like, which are the filler sites, when they get filled now, that's when I realize that okay, market is doing good. These are already sold.
Right.
So
The
when I have
prime
to
ones are-
when I have to analyze how the market is doing, I check up on the sites which are vacant. And then I realize, okay, we are doing good because these sites packed, which means like there are 15 sites in a cluster. Two are naturally, I mean, sometimes always available in outskirts like Cookers or outskirt places. When they sell off, you realize that the market is doing good. Not from these, but those. That's how you know that it's going decent.
Great. So we have been having a great conversation. One last question. How is your typical day like?
Okay, to go ahead. Literally, I wake up at 7
Okay.
and I go for my Pilates class from 8 to 9. Then by 9, my phone starts ringing. Literally ringing, because my team is on the ground and they have to ask me everything before they do. So they start ringing me for the list and for whatever is their roadmap like. So it starts from 9, then I have client calls coming in from 10:30. Till evening, it's office, office, office. Lately, it has been a bit personal also due to certain reasons affecting it. And then by evening also, like last call is the team at around 8. First call by 9 is the team. And after that, it's just personal family time.
Great.
So that is how it is.
It was great. So Mansi, it was lovely having you at our office with our podcast second season, Click to Know More. So today we had an amazing session with Mansi Maheshwari from NS Publicity. And to have more such interesting and engaging content on advertising, media and publicity, stay tuned with Click to Know More. Thank you.